Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes, perfect.
All right, so we are ready to find out what happens now that we've chosen what we've chosen.
Yes.
And, all right, it's a whisper of salty air, a flash of the sun on the ocean, a promise of a faraway horizon. I want to know if, like, our character is meant to have that interest somewhere. Like, is this, like, an idea of our previous life, or is this really just, I have latched onto Julian's fantasy, I am such a blank slate pushover?
Honestly, it sounds like basically the thing that we did art for, where it was, do we want to pick adventure, do we want to be a personal hero? And what we chose was being adventurous. So I feel like this dialogue is specifically tied to that. Like, that was immediately my thought, to be perfectly honest.
On the other hand, if they're trying to work so hard to be a blank slate, to go, I don't want to define this character so you can self-insert,
right?
That's not my idea of adventure at all. And it doesn't feel like Nerd's idea of adventure as established with, I just want to go where Ass was going and doing what Ass was doing.
I mean,
like, over and over. Additionally, the magical adventure specifically.
Asra's doing or what Julian's doing?
Well, what Asra has been doing while he's been raising us that we wanted at the beginning of the game, going, can I go with you?
Oh, right.
So,
because we're still talking about the introduction of basically the setup in the prologue.
Yes. That
lasts a while, and then they're like, then you can choose whatever you want. And you're like, yeah, but it doesn't make as much sense.
It established that our character was very interested in doing more of the magical shit. And again, we've talked about how in this route, we would have really, really benefited from that because we've needed to engage with the Arcana. So it'd be very meaningful for us to go, yeah, we want a life adventure, learning more of that, because if anyone else ever gets in trouble with the Arcana, we might be skilled enough to help instead of continual rounds of failure due to inexperience.
Right, absolutely.
So I don't feel that this character's desire would suddenly just shift over to what Julian imagined in that moment.
Which has probably also been a level of frustration that we've had with this, of going, we established a character, at least of trying to figure out the character they wanted us to play, and it's not working.
Or the character that they were writing and been able to have been unable to divine it in any, like, unified way. All right, yes. Promise of a faraway horizon. A breath of freedom.
Because we were completely stuck.
Because we were totally trapped? I never got the impression from Nerd that they felt trapped ever.
At all! Yep.
Other than by not having their own memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or by, you know, just a little bit left out in the cold by Asra.
Yeah, you know, he's playing solitaire.
The magic surges up through me, pouring down my arms and into my hands.
It just exists without me, independent of me, and, you know, only when I call upon it. But sometimes it does its own thing. That's okay.
Sometimes it's a force I tap into and I feel the reservoir inside me. Sometimes it just happens. Other times it's innate. All right, what have we... When I look at Valdemar again, a bright pain lances through my head, as though I'm trying to look at the sun. Okay.
Okay.
Does this happen to your eyes, too? An undulating mass twitches and judders in front of me, the outline fluctuating unevenly. I'm just getting that toad picture, like that toad video that I described to you over and over again. Just everything keeps shifting out to different pieces of chunks of reality.
Honestly, what I really want is Valdemar to actually secretly be that entire, like, desk, or the deck, where there's all the little raccoon hands that are coming up for the food, where everybody's like, this is a horror film! And I was like, it's really cute, but yes, out of context.
But also horrifying.
Yes. Because they're like, feed us! And that's what I think Valdemar is.
Yeah, it's a pit of hands. A pit of hands. Valdemar, secretly a pit of hands. I guess it's better than a snake made of eyes, right?
Right?
Alright, so their surface boils, clusters of eyes and teeth and rib bones emerging from within their mass, then dissolving back into it. I'm getting an image of something I've definitely seen before. Like, I'm getting a very Akira vibe, I think, really, from just the flesh sort of oozing and grumbling, and like that sort of cancerous growing different pieces of the body experience.
Honestly, as much as like Akira basically did a bunch of some of that imagery, I don't feel like it went Thing, which is where I was thinking of as John Carpenter's Thing.
Oh, but I haven't seen Thing, so that would make sense.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because from what I understand
Thing
about
fucked me
that
up,
might make more sense. All right.
Wow.
But I can see something else. The shadow of chains densely wrapped around Valdemar's form. Someone owns you!
Or something.
Or something. Or you're totally into bondage.
Maybe. Considering apparently the
Valdemar, the reason I am absolutely in control of everything ever in my entire life is because that is the only way to truly surrender when you submit.
Which is actually a thing that they talk about, I think, in regular BDSM, which, so if you don't know what it means, it actually means bondage and discipline, and then...
Sadomasochism.
And sadomasochism, I think. There's actually, like, a way to do it where people are like, no, it's all about sex, and it's like, actually, it really doesn't have like, that's a side thing. Yeah, the main focus actually isn't usually sex, based off of my understanding.
Or so, there is no sex in the acronym.
Yes.
At all.
Yeah.
Like, and all of those things can be done without sex being involved, but that there is, I think it's bondage dominance and sadomasochism.
Bondage dominance?
You said discipline.
I think it is bondage and discipline.
Maybe
though,
it is bondage and discipline. Anyway, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So Valdemar reaches one, or maybe more, long, terrible, blade-like limbs towards us. Closer and closer. The shop is suddenly huge,
Closer.
and we are reaching across the distance. Closer. Closer, until they're close enough. I lash out, grabbing hold of a chain. Wait, they reach limbs. I assume the limbs are also wrapped in chains?
I guess?
Because what I'm getting here is the body is wrapped in chains, sort of pinning down and crushing
But
and
it's the
limiting some of it,
arms.
and then arms are reaching out. Do those arms also have individual chains wrapped around them, and then we reach out grabbing a chain, or do we go, the arms are way out here, and so they can't get their interior, so you run in between the arms?
His last
to get a
name
chain.
is Marley.
What?
But Marley, Jacob Marley? He's covered in chains?
Huh?
Being weighed down with the sins of life, Scrooge?
Oh, okay,
my
I didn't
God.
know Scrooge's name.
No, that was the name of Scrooge's partner.
Oh,
My partner,
God.
Jacob Marley!
Right, okay, I remember now.
Yeah,
I was like,
and some
what?
people are really like, it's hardcore, intense
Bondage.
and whatever else, and other people are like, it's just sort of mild chaining.
It's fine.
It's
I don't
okay.
know.
Anyway.
Okay, until they're close enough. I lash out, grabbing hold of a chain. So we're attacking out, grabbing hold of a chain.
Well, the magic surge.
Because lashing isn't grabbing; it's making an action of like doing something. So we lash out and grab hold of a chain. I think.
I'm like, lashing is a specific action.
Yeah, like you lash out at someone is a
Yeah.
verbal attack, is a physical attack.
Yeah, it's not
So-
a passive. I grab.
Is our attack to grab the chain? And that's interesting.
I
We
roll
assume-
to attack by lash out and do this thing. Someone, what?
What? I was just say, I want to attack them by grabbing one of the chains. You have identified a chain as a weak spot.
That is a grapple. my
Wow.
dude, not an
For
attack.
a moment, it almost feels cold. Only almost.
Almost.
Then it burns. White hot agony searing up from my hand and into my body, driving all other thoughts from my mind. Should have grabbed it with your magic instead of your flesh. Just
Disappointing.
saying. Julian catches hold of me when I stumble, holding me up.
Wait, we're actually okay. So I don't know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused.
I'm also having I lash out while Valdemar's reaching towards us. Is Valdemar one of those giant, slow, shambly, scooting in mega monsters that just runs on a battle timer, where I jump in, I get a reaction, I don't let go, I stumble, Julian comes in after registering me stumbling and supports me, and nothing happens with Valdemar in the meantime except for this slow, creeping reach?
I don't know.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
we'll find out.
We'll find out. Abruptly, the agony lessens, and I can breathe past the stabbing pain in my chest.
He's like, 'cause I know bondage, though.
I
get it, honey. It feels a little tense and tight at first, but then once you get it, honestly, yeah.
It's okay. You just spread the tension out.
It's really good.
Oh my God. I still don't get the impression that he's like that, but it's fine.
It's fine.
And I can breathe past the stabbing pain. What are we doing with our magic in this moment? I need to know. In the same moment, Julian doubles over, his expression twisting with an echo of my own pain.
Oh, he's taking on our pain, even though he has lost that ability to do so? What? Keep going.
But
It's
didn't
fine.
his mark came
disappear.
back in the dream.
Yeah.
Remember? So maybe he has it again somehow magically?
No, they came back in the dream because remember that was when he walked away. He chose to walk away.
Right,
That was
okay.
the fake Julian, so he doesn't have it. So how
Maybe without the mark, he's just gained the skill. It was a magic feather was a fake all along.
Ah!
I'm going to use that in every game ever now when they do suddenly, without magical endowment, they behave the same skill. I'm like, the magical feather was just a gimmick the whole time.
And if you don't know what we're talking about Dumbo. When
It
we're
is.
talking about a racist experience, because...
We're not talking about the racist
caricatures.
experience. We're talking about a placebo experience
Yes.
that was nonetheless framed with a function of racist stereotypes.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally Jim Crows.
But that is
Jesus Christ.
not the piece of it, because the feather wasn't
Yes,
specifically
no,
racist.
it wasn't specifically, but it was also like the magical Negro giving you the item so you can find the seed. So that in its own could basically be interpreted as still somewhat
Yeah,
racist,
blah.
so to me.
In the same moment, Julian doubles over, his expression twisting in an echo of my own pain. He catches me, and I look up at his face instead of the battle I'm involved in. Whoa.
Whoa.
My bro, Valdemar has the upper hand, like, wow.
Yeah.
But he doesn't let go. He's still holding on.
I'm used to spice!
I assume
So
that-
secretly, I'm actually the biggest man. Okay, so I learned something recently. I have to tell you, if Julian doesn't like spicy food, I don't know what's up. Because everyone's going to say that he's a masochist. So if you don't know, according to what I have learned, and I don't know, because I haven't done
Science, I've looked it up.
So I just looked it up. Spicy is not a flavor. Spicy is an experience of basically hurting your nerve endings in your mouth / your basically your entire digestive system.
It's a nervous pain response in your mouth that goes along with the taste bud flavor experience. That's why when you see the, flavor diagrams on what your tongue can taste, and it feels, somewhat incomplete, but also this experience of going, it's still a little bit dated.
Right.
There is no spicy on there because spicy isn't a flavor, it's an experience. It's a touch experience. It's a tactile experience of pain.
Yes, it's a sensory experience.
Exactly. So it would be, spicy would be moved over to your touch sensory experience, which is why you can feel it on your skin and in your eyes and stuff like that, where you don't have taste buds.
Yes.
All right. Anyway,
Aha!
So, but he doesn't let go. He's still holding on. But are we still holding on to the chain that we lashed out at?
Yes.
A single link of the chain snaps that I'm holding on to? I guess. Valdemar goes suddenly, totally still. So Valdemar was just slowly reaching this whole time. I feel like Valdemar's moving way too slow.
Valdemar seems like a slow-ass bitch.
They
for some
spasm
reason.
violently. And even if you read through this really, really quickly, there was still enough time for you to grab, react, start to fall down, Julian to run in and grab you, and then you to see the chain snap after realizing what happened between you and looking at his face and seeing that he took on the pain before Valdemar has another action.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good long... This is like D&D 6-second action phases, I think.
Or, to me, the pacing seems off, but
All
that's
right.
me.
Then they spasm violently as some of their mass disintegrates, dissolving into nothing. They're a homunculi made of things chained together artificially?
I don't
Ooh.
know.
I realized to my horror that the chains are not the only thing...
The only thing.
Oh, that the chains are the only thing holding Valdemar together.
Sorry, my friend's having an experience of dyslexia, plus we've never read this before,
Yeah.
so it's trying to what is called garden pathing, where you're assuming, because you've read so many other things, you go, this is the trope of the sentence, and you basically fill in words that aren't there because your brain assumes things.
Yes, I've done it a lot during things. All right. The chains are the only thing holding Valdemar together. Then the pain fades. Does it fade from Julian as well? Are we still staring at his face?
Hi.
I don't know.
Hi.
Oh,
that is a
suddenly
new face for you.
your entire experience is gone. Without another word, Valdemar flees, vanishing into thin air. So I'm assuming that what the visual text was saying there is we stopped seeing the other thing once the chain broke.
Right.
They suddenly poofed back into their normal humanoid form and gave us that expression and then fled.
Because they were afraid of losing the rest of their body. If the chains are the only thing that's holding them together,
Yeah.
the amalgamum that is them...
Then they're oogie boogie in a sack, basically.
Edward.
What?
Oh god, you don't know the...
Different
My
fandoms?
friend doesn't know the Full Metal Alchemist, the child being fused with her dog reference.
Oh,
Everyone should be very sad and very disappointed.
that
Was a traumatic experience.
I know
for-
it in a different context.
That's fine.
But not with the Edward reference.
Yeah, it's
specifically. All right. Vanishing into thin air, and the music swells
Wells!
triumphantly. Da-na.
You're like, yeah, I did so much!
Death's realm is silent for all of 5 seconds before Julian yells out a triumphant...
Lets out a triumphant yell. You're
Hang
having...
on. I keep being confused. So, Death's realm is silent.
Yep.
So are we in Death's realm if it's Julian letting out a triumphant yell? When did we get into Death's realm?
That was the whole conversation that we just had talking about this is where death is in the quiet voice of death. Now, that doesn't mean that we knew it explicitly, but I guess... also, I'm having fun going, our shop exists in Death's realm. Which means that we are undead.
I know, I was
Clearly.
going to say, that's fascinating that Astra bringing us back to life, if you will, permanently linked us with Death's realm. So our shop where we live that we own, apparently, is in Death's realm. So when people walk through the front door, they walk into Death's realm.
Uh-huh.
Either that, or we're not back in reality, and we've completely misassessed it, and we're actually just in Death's realm, Death's version of our shop.
I mean, I didn't think we were back in reality at all.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
good. But I was going to say, because nerds seem to really think we were back in reality, and so did Julian. Both of them, yay, we've got our bodies back, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't think so.
We got out of the haunted dreamscape, because we're still in the magical realm, because we haven't gotten our bodies back yet. We can't be
assume.
back. Like,
All right,
it's fine.
so Death's realm is silent for all of 5 seconds, and I can't hear Death speaking anymore, and my magic is completely gone. All right.
Nerd! That was amazing! Woo!
Me.
Fuck him up! Fuck him up! Fuck him! Woo!
You seem really excited for just going through massive pain. Could you see everything I could see? I assumed it was a magical experience to see what I could see.
What?
you know, could you see Valdemar turn into the weird, inexplicable, incomprehensible monster?
I thought Valdemar just sort of stood there for a second and then just started seizuring. And then once you sort of snapped out of whatever it was after I caught you, then it was like, you must have done something. I thought maybe it was magical. I'm not sure. I don't do magic.
You threw your hand out towards Valdemar, who looked completely normal,
Just
and then
there.
you started to faint, or collapse, and so I grabbed you. It hurt like the dickens, and then Valdemar ran away. Woo!
That was great! Yeah, you did something. I'm very proud.
That is a different experience. I agree. Yes, I did do something. He kisses me and spins me around in a circle, but we both wobble and stumble, nearly falling. We have really, really been through a lot of pain just a moment ago.
So, that took a lot out of both of us, I guess. My leggies. Oh, my leggies. The have pins in
Julian, if we're not in our bodies, we don't have to experience bodily experiences.
Oh.
Just like drowning. Remember how I didn't have to drown and you were drowning? You can feel fine.
What?
It's a mental state.
Dang it. I forget about that. But you did it! You made Valdemar turn tail and run!
So you could see Valdemar's tail.
What?
Shit.
It was a metaphor. If they hadn't run, you would have kicked their ass for real! Wow, that was like...
Nerd, generally soft and passive and only reactive. You had destroyed them!
Perfect!
It's so good.
Stress.
Well, as much as I hate to rain on Julian's parade, I don't think that's true.
Except for me, I was also like, that was just a backhanded compliment. Imagine, if you'd actually done something. I was like, you really couldn't see anything, could you?
No.
It was just like, you just sort of sat there, had your hand out, Valdemar grinned at you, and then you stumbled.
I caught
you. It hurt like the dickens for, really no reason. And then Valdemar looked afraid and ran away.
So I'm getting this impression of, okay, if you're layman and you're standing back watching this, because you don't have any magic, so you can't see, Valdemar postures for a moment. Both of them look a little bit confused. Then, Nerd looks completely overwhelmed. I need to fight! Julian, oh my god, you choose to fight. I support you! Valdemar slowly starts reaching their arms out like I'm going to offer to hug you or grab your shoulders and give you a pep talk or something. We reach forward and grab their elbow, that kind of cross grab thing, and then just start to fall down. Julian runs in and grabs us. Hurts horrifically, and then Valdemar makes an angry, like a sad face, like your chi has defeated mine, and runs away.
Oh no!
And somebody
buckles your arm off.
Somebody watching it from the outside is like, damn, you just grabbed their elbow. That grip must have been amazing to scare them out of that fight.
Vice grip.
Yes.
Yaha!
Nerd has the most intense handshake in the world. I don't think that's true. We got lucky, Julian. If they'd stayed, it would have gone badly for both of us. How do you know that? If the chains kept breaking, I guess because the pain was so intense.
For us.
For us.
You're adding in lots of words today. I support you. There's no
It
both
would
of
have
us.
gone badly for us. I thought that's
You
what I
said both of us.
Oh, for us. Anyway, I apologize.
It's okay. I'm entertained.
I'm experiencing being a little flabbergasted by this scene because it's challenging my ability to understand what they're conveying.
It's true. All right.
He sobers up for a moment, considering that possibility, then shrugs slightly. And I'm going, why does Nerd think that it would have gone bad for both of us if you were actually making headway with the chain started breaking kind of thing? Is it because you assume immediately they would then double their attack and neither of you'd been able to handle it because you'd need a chain of like 9 or 10 or 12 more people to diffuse the pain through?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know why we would have lost, because to me, you're the dude running... sorry, I use dude in this way, gender neutral, but the individual, like Valdemar, running the fuck out the door, literally to me stands for, I would have lost, not a, oh shit!
Or that's an unacceptable level
there goes
of,
the
like...
pallet.
Or that would be an unacceptable level of, like, damage/risk kind of thing. Anyway,
right.
He shrugs.
Well, they didn't! They didn't, and we're both safe! Thanks to... Who are you again?
You don't know what it's thanks to, is it?
What was that, anyways? Like,
you mean my magic? Thanks to my magic? Thanks to my action.
He really can't even see anything. He just saw you flail and then fall. And
there we go!
For a moment, I thought I saw you grab something. I mean...
Valdemar looks completely normal. We reach out and somehow grab a chain near them in thin air. And you're like, I don't know where that came from, but sure.
Sounds about right. I think maybe
you can only see like the link in my hand and nothing else.
Right.
I saw you reach out and basically, is that a spell called chain that you cast in your hand towards them, basically?
You know, I love where sometimes a lot of people really do, like, have this level of assumptiveness with their characters, where you recognize that what they're doing, they're all writing from one perspective.
Right.
And you'd be surprised how many people are looking at the same event, and they do not see it, and they're going, it was this thing off in this corner, and you're like, what?
No,
You're like, no, it was me doing this thing, and they're like, oh, I thought you summoned this thing into being, or we were both having the same conversation. Like, I actually had the recent experience where I was reading basically just the short, like, this comic that was ongoing, and I was like, hang on, I could totally see how basically all these other characters reacting to this other character could be about something else entirely. Like this one line where they were talking about, you know, hey, who's the parent of this child kind of thing, of going like, or who is the sire of this child, and who's the, you know, the dam of this child kind of thing in this conversation. And I was like, you could totally read that though in a different way of going like, are you caretaking for a child that actually isn't yours? You know, not a, you know, kind of thing, rather than where they went with, which was clearly the whole more, oh, you've done something terrible, you had a child with somebody who was a horrible, abusive person,
right?
You know, kind of thing. Instead, I was just like, I'm like, you could totally have someone going, I see this child, and you know what? They look like someone you've just been caretaking for the person who was abusive, not that it's your child. Or that you have anything to do with them.
So basically we did a thought experiment in Freshman Fantasies in reference to the first abusive male character presented, Jonathan.
Right.
Where if he had been framed from an outside perspective, you could see him as incredibly sympathetic, depending on how the storytelling went, even without changing any of the events at all. And basically that is the sort of thing that I think a lot of people fail to do with their characters when they're writing someone seeing it from an outside perspective. They assume that person understood what went on at all, and there's often no reason they should. So I kind of like this.
Yes.
Yes, the same chains as the ones that pulled us into the fake gate. Valdemar, these are extremely fragile chains that can be magically affected and hold my very existence together. Let me fling them at you and pull you into me.
Also, at the same time, too, I'm like, how did you know? I saw inscripted on each one, Valdemar, Valdemar, Valdemar. And they were a haute couture Valdemar.
I recognized the branding from when they came through the gate suddenly and grabbed me. That was totally the same chain.
Yes, perfect. I knew it was them. Twas them.
Twas them. It's fine. All right, so...
it's fine. Keep going.
Okay.
No, it's only 20. You're fine.
All right. So, I can still feel a shadow of that searing heat on my hand. That oppressive, claustrophobic energy.
Are you like a fear?
So, I guess?
Or something?
It was the same as the devil's. So Valdemar is in the sway of the devil, and the devil's going, oh no, it's not me. People are just controlling me. Oh.
Poor devil card. Everyone's just writing me out to be an asshole.
Hi. Devil going, ah yes, everything's a plan. I'm pulling all the strings. You betcha.
Ooh, strings of strings. Yeah, honestly, it's fine.
All right. I think those chains are part of the devil's power.
And you broke one of the links.
Oh, you could see that part.
What? No. I just am assuming.
Because
that seems logical, right? The only reason we're talking about chains is that you break chains, you know, break the chains that bind you.
Right, escape bondage. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, sure.
You know, you had the safe word on. It worked great.
I still don't really know how I did it. I didn't know I could. There'd be no way to know you could unless you'd encountered that before.
Aye.
So that's a completely ridiculous prospect going, I fought a titan and I won. I had no idea I could do that. You've never encountered a titan ever in your life, so yes, of course you'd have no idea you could do that.
No, but I really didn't know. We know.
Yes.
That reasonable.
Accurate.
Yes.
Julian opens his mouth, closes it, then opens it again. I quietly ask him, are you impersonating a fish?
I like fish. I can't really go for a flounder right about now, you know? I have a little bit of high fish, it'd be really tasty.
Yeah, I have to say, we probably haven't eaten for a really long time. Like, not since the dance at the party a long time ago.
Yeah, we didn't really eat, we just danced.
I mean, I kind of picked at food the way Belle did in that scene in Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon.
Oh my god! Okay, so speaking of something that made me so distressed, I feel like watching that movie again. I don't mean anything bad to the writers. I really like the Beauty and the Beast, the 1994 animated cartoon from Disney. But like watching it again, I realized that basically they were just sort of like parading food in front of her and going, you could have this, but fuck no! You could have this, but oh, too bad! You weren't fast enough! Like, it's so...
She literally sticks her finger and
in
tries the gray stuff. It's delicious. And nothing else. But she came downstairs because she was really hungry.
And that's what she did. Like, it was all about food, and she didn't eat the whole time! And I'm so sad as someone who was like, the food looks so good. eat the food. So I have to tell you, like, the one thing that, like, Ghibli has given me happy things because people actually fucking eat the food!
Yes.
Ah!
It's
Okay.
so good.
Hey, if you can break the devil's chains... It sounds like a romantic thing. Excuse me, I'm okay.
Okay, the newest romance book, Breaking the Devil's Chains.
Breaking the devil's... I mean, honestly, I bet you it is a romance. Are you thinking what I am thinking? No, Julian, I can't read your mind.
No, because I freaked out when the first chain broke, and then I didn't think about it, other than that was so stunning and surprising that I didn't know how to react other than to back off.
I was
because honestly, if Valdemar turned tail and ran, but I hadn't released my grip on the chain and they were trying to get away, I'd have had the absolute upper hand in battle. I'd have had the literal the functional high ground because they're trying to escape. So I could do whatever I want because they're just trying to get away rather than fight back. But I'm not combative that way, so that didn't happen.
So it's actually one of those things that reminds me, and I think we've talked about it before, where they did actually talk about the psychology of trying to convince people to hurt other people. It really is actually a thing of like trying to manipulate people, and they do it really extensively in the United States Army and in the Air Force and in the Navy, of really, like, and police officers do it as well, of really convincing people to attack other people. And they really go through an intense psychological, basically, manipulation of their personhood and basically turning into othering everyone else, because if they're an other, if they're not a part of us, I can hurt other.
Then I have permission to hurt them. And there is, like, in general, people don't have, your average person at all has no desire to hurt other people. There is no inherent desire in people to hurt each other. And we actually have to work to teach people how to do it. And there's been a lot of research into how to teach people how to hurt each other in reference to what my friend said, in reference to the military and the police force.
Yeah, because I think it was actually one of the biggest things they complained about after World War I, where they were like, oh my god.
People didn't want to shoot each other.
They didn't. They missed most of the time, and also they just wouldn't shoot. Like, it was to people who like to perform more, a big problem. So, you know.
Our soldiers, if they can see the enemy, don't want to shoot them because they're people. We need to fix that. It's a very interesting thing. So when I was majoring in psychology, it was a very interesting thing to read about. And it was very uncomfortable.
Yes.
I managed to nod, though I'm a little confused.
Okay.
This must be what the star meant. This is how I can stop the devil.
What?
So the
star was like, you need to go off on an inner journey. But what it really is this is how you stop the devil, is by going on an inner journey that ended up having to do more with Julian than us. I'm sorry, I'm never going to let that down.
So apparently that was the correct gate to go for our actual journey. It just looked bad. So the star going, when you enter the deepest parts of yourself, which is the realm of death, because that's where you come from, because you died.
Right. Because that is where you started.
Then you will find your answers there. And Valdemar is sitting there in the dark, going, hello.
And you're like, oh, did we date at some point? Why are you here?
How did you get into... Wait, this isn't my realm.
Oh, you're inside Julian now.
No, it's Death's realm.
Right, but the thing is, the focus was on Julian's story. And
I know, right?
Well, I'm having interesting... It's fine.
Layered issues, okay.
That's
this is how I can stop the devil. Just me, by myself, but we have to work together to do it. Oh, and that's the end of the chapter.
Oh!
Well, I suppose we can wrap this one up right here, then.
I mean,
how many minutes are we at?
We got like 3 minutes. Well, again, I got 2 minutes.
All right, hold on one moment. Hold on. It has loaded. Here we go.
The loadination.
All right. I can stop the devil. I mean, that's sort of what you've been being told, so yes?
Yes?
Yes.
By
apparently... Okay, so...
I don't know.
I need to understand. I'm going to go farther. I need to understand. I stare down at my hands, swallowing hard. Repeating it doesn't make it feel any more real. I have never felt empowered in my life. Thanks, Dad.
What? What is wrong? Are you mad because I took the lost peptide?
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Do you want kisses? Yes, indeed. Okay, we're never going to get over that TikTok. It's just very strong astral energy.
It really is.
It is. All right. Repeating it doesn't make it feel any more real. But the facts remain. I broke a link of the devil's chain, and Valdemar fled. Maybe that's because Valdemar had a modicum of freedom and went, I don't want to fecking fight you for someone else's cause.
Maybe?
That could be interesting.
Lad, I hate to be the voice of reason, but,
Oh, you're gonna be the voice of reason suddenly? I'm astounded! Snowball fight and making out in the library with death impending, and let's just run off and pet the seals on the shore and pretend nothing is happening. I won't jump off the ledge. I'm gonna repeatedly say, oh yes, I follow you, and then run off into the distance. Voice of reason, go for it.
Yeah, sure, honey. Okay.
I can drink in a public bar with guards roaming the streets everywhere because, you know, there's one bird that will make sure I know if they're coming this way and from which side of the bar and how I can exit safely.
But using that power nearly knocks you flat.
You didn't say that? You just said using.
Using that flower... flower... using the flower power of the 80s and 70s really knocks you flat.
No, hang on. That poison flower you were talking about. We could use that.
Honestly, I am really disappointed that they didn't call back to that at any fucking point.
It
So
would've
there are
been so
interesting things where I'm like, you have established things in a story way. In the narrative, you usually want to do callbacks because it ties basically your audience in further, and you really go, yes, I am in on it. Like,
I see the story growing more connected.
Yes.
And things that I learned became relevant, even though I didn't know they were going to be. What I will say is that since that was inside of a premium scene, if you're not sure, it's when we go in the garden to avoid the guards at the very beginning of the route.
Yeah.
I would say that in case you didn't buy that one, it can't be inherent because those scenes do not affect your route.
Except they do shit like that all the time, and you and I have proved that. Because
Except
there's
for-
sometimes where they have, like, Muriel's, like, cabin where they lit the fire and that weird awkward line. I was like, no, you expected people to buy that for some reason, like based off of what I can tell.
Or again, you passed back badly.
Yes.
Obviously, but there was also one though in going, if we hadn't bought that story of Pasha talking about Julian and their past in Nivibon making salts, then if you do the bath scene instead without that one, him running up and going, oh yeah, these salts remind me of home, you have no context for it. So some of them do wait on each other.
Oh yeah.
And they assume that, I don't know, it's interesting where there's other places where they're like, we'll never do setup and payoff because these scenes don't affect the game and do nothing, but we're also going to somehow count on them occasionally. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us.
Yay.
Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. I've got the links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!